Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a very special guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is taking massive action. In the world of real estate investing, taking massive action can be the catalyst for rapid progress and success. Here are 4 reasons why diving in with determination and enthusiasm is crucial for newer investors. Number 1, learning through experience. Massive action exposes you to a multitude of situations, challenges, and opportunities. Each deal, negotiation, and setback is a valuable lesson that textbooks or YouTube channels can't fully teach. By immersing yourself in the process, you accelerate your learning curve and gain practical insights that lay a solid foundation for your real estate journey. Number 2, building momentum. Consistent, decisive action creates momentum. Momentum is the force that propels you forward, making it easier to overcome obstacles and capitalize on emerging prospects. Real estate is dynamic, and by staying active, you position yourself to ride the waves of the market rather than being overwhelmed by them. Number 3, expanding your network. Taking massive action involves networking with various industry professionals, from real estate agents and contractors to fellow investors and mentors. Building a robust network enhances your access to valuable resources, information, and potential partnerships. The relationships you develop can be instrumental in opening doors to lucrative deals and collaborations. Number 4, and most important, overcoming fear and hesitation. Fear of failure or the unknown can paralyze aspiring investors. Taking massive action helps overcome this fear by turning it into productive energy. The more you engage with the market, the more confident and capable you become. As you accumulate successes, both big and small, you build the resilience needed to navigate the uncertainties of real estate. So remember, while taking massive action is crucial, it's equally important to remain disciplined, informed, and strategic in your approach. Balancing enthusiasm with a well-thought-out plan will help you make the most of your real estate endeavors. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us Tarek El Moussa. He really needs no introduction, but those of you that have been sleeping under a rock, Tarek is a real estate investor and television personality. He is best known for starring in HGTV's Flip or Flop. Tarek also travels the country as an in-demand speaker, sharing his experiences as a successful business owner, house flipper, and 2-time cancer survivor. I've had the pleasure of working with him for the past few years as a coach for his education program, Homeschooled by Tarek El Moussa. I'm going to try my best and not go all fangirl on him. So welcome to the show, Tarek El Moussa.
Jen Josie, what an opening. I love the music, the voiceover, the tips and tricks. This is awesome. Well done.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being on my 200th episode, which is a feat in itself. And I know your time is so valuable. So we are going to dive in. I have been reading your new book that just came out, Flip Your Life. I don't have the actual cover on it, but I am learning so much about you. So give us a quick background of how you got started in real estate.
Okay, so I was 19 years old. And at the time I was actually dating a girl, and her parents were involved with real estate sales like 30 years before. Her dad was a developer, owned all these houses. So when we were dating, me and the dad would go hang out, we'd have drinks in the backyard. He would always tell me all these real estate war stories, and they just sounded so fun and so amazing. but like, I was a 19-year-old kid, but like real estate wasn't even on my radar. At the time, I was delivering pizza, selling Cutco kitchen knives. And then one day I lost my sales book, and I'll never forget this moment. I'm staring at the ATM at the Washington Mutual in Cerritos, California. I have what I like to call a defining moment, which is a moment in your life that changes the trajectory of your life. And I said, man, what am I going to do? And I threw my head to the right, and there was my sign. It was actually a crooked sign. It said Wise Old Owl Real Estate School. And I had that defining moment. I was like, if I can sell knives, I could probably sell houses. And I know that Gary, he crushed it in real estate. So I walked across that parking lot and I signed up for real estate school.
And you started off as an agent, and then how did you fall into getting into the whole flipping side of things?
Yeah, so my first few months as an agent, I totally struck out. I was struggling, not making any money, spinning my wheels, going to work, had no idea what to do. And then I learned something. You could be hungry, you could be motivated, you could be excited, but if you don't know what to do, it's really hard to go anywhere. So one day I find out there was a free coaching event, and I ended up going to the coaching event. And at the end of the event, I signed up for one-on-one coaching. And that coach is what's given me the passion today to coach other people, because that coach changed my life. So he took me from being a broke 20-year-old kid to 90 days later, I ended up making $120,000 in commission selling houses. So I say it all the time. You can change your life fast with real estate. You can. Sales, wholesaling, flipping, you can change your life fast. Like, you're not going to be worth $100 million next year. Probably not going to happen, but you can make more money than you've done in the past in a short period of time if you're willing to put in that work. So from there, I became, successful selling houses. Great recession came. My business went under. Had to sell my house, my cars, everything I had, and I had to reinvent myself. And I did a short sale transaction actually in late 2009, early 2010. There was a first lien, a second lien, a third lien, a HOA lien, an IRS lien, a lien on the lien. And I worked 11 months on this thing, Jen, like 11 months. Okay. I found the seller from door knocking. I got the buyer from a sign call, right? And 11 months later, I got a check for $7,000. The person I sold it to, they hired a gardener, cut the grass, hired a painter, painted the house, and flipped it and made about $130,000. And I said, well, wait a minute here. I found the buyer, I found the seller, I negotiated with the bank, I did the whole deal. I got 7. Why did they make 130? And that was the exact moment I realized I was on the wrong side of that real estate equation. I didn't want to sell those things. I wanted to own those things. So in that exact moment, I said out loud, I'm going to be a real estate investor. I'm going to flip houses. So of course, pulled out my phone, start with the very top name. Man, one after another, laughing at me. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? It's too speculative. You're too young. It's too risky. Go to school. All the bullshit we all hear. And every no I was like, man, I can't wait to prove you wrong, because that's where I get the fire from. I hate being told no. So finally, I get to a phone number in my book, and it was the only multimillionaire I knew. And it turns out it was the last call I made because I was scared to call this person. And guess what happened? The one person I was scared to call before I even finished my sentence says, if you can find a good deal, yes, I'll flip houses with you and we can go 50-50. Just
Wow.
like that. And I said, that's all I need to hear. So in that moment, I started looking for houses, and we ended up buying our first flip at the Santa Ana Courthouse. It was a condo, paid $115,000 for it. I was so nervous. I remember when we were the winning bid, my heart was popping out of my chest. My hands were shaking. I was sweaty. I was like having buyer's remorse already. I'm like, nobody else wanted to pay what I just paid. This is a terrible buy. Anyways, all the normal stuff. And I didn't know anything about construction, but I knew about hard work. So I got that thing done, fixed up, listed with a buyer, closed to escrow, start to finish in under 60 days, believe it or not.
Oh, my goodness.
And we ended up getting a check for $34,000, which for me at the time felt like $340 million because I had just lost everything in the Great Recession. So it was like the beginning of my comeback. But here's the interesting thing. The same time we bought that house, I went to another real estate convention in Las Vegas. There was about 5,000 people there. And I got invited to sit in the very front row because 2 seats opened up and my buddy was up there. So me and Christina, my ex-wife, we went up there. And at the break, people started talking to us. And, we ended up talking to this guy who was on stage talking about how he made $800,000 a year selling houses. And back then, like, I couldn't even fathom making $800,000 a year. So I was talking to this guy, and then he starts telling me how he has this local TV show in Palm Springs, and he goes places and people recognize him. I'm like, okay, well, that's neat, but like, how do you make money? And he goes, well, then they do business with me. I'm like, man, that was smart. So, Jen, I leave Las Vegas, and I can't stop thinking about this conversation, but I never thought about TV before. And we get home from Las Vegas. We were living in San Clemente, California. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I'll never forget. Christina's wearing black yoga pants. Her left foot is up the stairs. She looked over to me on the couch. She goes, you coming to bed? I said, no. I said, I'm going to get us a TV show. And then she starts laughing at me because I always say crazy shit. She knows me. And then she starts laughing at me. What TV? What are you talking about? A TV show? A TV show about what? And I said, well, I don't know. Give me a second. And I was like, TV show. I was like, well, we just bought our first house to flip. Why don't we just flip houses on TV? We call it flip or flop. Flip if we make money, flip if we go broke. And that was literally the birth of flip or flop in that moment. So of course she laughed at me and went to bed. Here's why I'm so smart. People overcomplicate everything. So if anyone gets anything out of this podcast, it's how simple I keep things so it can make sense for people like me. It's got to be simple or else I won't understand it. So where do I find people that might be able to put me on TV, Jen? The internet, right? What are those people called? Production companies. I went to the internet, typed Hollywood production companies. They came up, hit websites that had a button said contact. I wrote emails. Hey, my name's Tarek El Moussa. Me and my wife want to flip houses on TV, blah, blah, blah. Send some pictures. I woke up the next day. One of them said, hey, we like what you got. Send us a home video. So we sent the home video. Of course, they loved it. I electrocuted myself. I painted the baseboards to the floor. I burned my feet with acid. It was fun TV. And then from there, they got the home video, and then they did a sizzle shoot, which is a 2-day professional shoot. That went great. That went to the networks. Nobody wanted it. So we were dead in the water. Nobody wanted it. 10 months later, I get a call from the production company. They're like, you're not going to believe it, but HGTV wants to do a pilot. So in the summer of 2011, we shot the pilot for Flip or Flop. And at the end of it, they told me the odds of getting a show are very low. And if you do get a show, it's probably going to be some time. So it's going to be a while. A few weeks later, I get a contract to flip 13 houses in 10 months on national TV.
And how many projects did you have going on at the time?
0.
I knew this story.
0. Because I just flipped the pilot house, and that was my third flip I ever did. So then I'm like, well, wait a minute. How am I going to flip 13 houses in 10 months? That's mathematically impossible. 1, I don't have money. And 2, I don't know how to flip houses. Like, where am I going to get all these houses? So I called my lawyer. I said, what's the worst that could happen? He says, they could sue you. I looked around my apartment. I said, they could have it. So I signed that contract twice. I burned the boats. I made it happen, Jen. Every day I'd work, 18 hours a day. I'd leave my house every night at 10 p.m., driving Southern California till 4 a.m., driving by houses that were going to auction the next morning because I had to make sure nobody lived there. And what happened was I would go and then I'd drive overnight. So I'm exhausted. I'm at the auction at 9 a.m. My highest bid on a house I want is $300,000, right? So it's like opening bid 200, 250, 300. Then it goes 305, 310, 350, 400. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I said, the max I could go is 300. Who the hell's paying 400? And then it turns out I was competing against hedge funds. It wasn't their money. So they didn't care what they were buying, right? But here's what happened. I did this vicious cycle every day for weeks. Overnight driving, going to the auction, getting my butt kicked overnight. And then one day I bid on a house and nobody bid against me. And it was the very last auction of the day. And it was the very last house of the day. And the biggest buyer at the auction, who buys at least 1,000 homes a year, looks over at me and he goes, I can't buy them all. And he walked off.
Wow.
And guess what I learned? I learned if I'm always taking massive action, I'm going to get lucky. So that's what I did. I kept taking massive action. I kept getting lucky. That's how I pulled it off.
Well, I think that is a theme that is one of the best things that you teach our students at Homeschooled by Tarek El Moussa. And I even made it my badassery bestowment today because it's such an invaluable tool, is taking that massive action. And that's what I know you as doing. So years later, how does Homeschooled by Tarek El Moussa come about?
I never forgot about that coach that helped 20-year-old Tarek. I'm serious. If it wasn't for that coach, Like I was going back to school, I was going to get a job, like my life would be so different. So I'm truly passionate about helping and teaching other people because the truth is, it is so much easier to get what you want in life if you know what to do and you believe you can do it. The number one thing that prevents people from getting what they want is they never actually try.
Right.
They talk about it, they read about it, they watch about it, they think about it, but they never actually try. So I'm a big believer that anybody can change their life by making the decision to do it and getting to work.
And how is homeschool different from these other gurus that are out there? I don't ever consider you a guru, by the way.
Definitely not a guru.
Gurus are people who say and don't do, and you're out there actively doing what you teach, and so that's why I wouldn't call you a guru. But how does Homeschooled by Tarek stand out from the other programs?
Very, very simple. Like I'm going to be straight up here. I don't think I've ever said it like this. I have severe ADHD. I have some learning disabilities. I'm not good at studying. I'm not good with classrooms. So I taught myself how to flip houses my way. And my way is a simplified version that a 12-year-old can do. So the way I did, no, it's true. Watch this, Jen. You want to know how to flip houses? There's two ways. One, you talk to people that own them. Two, you talk to people that sell them, right? That's it.
Right.
Right. So it's about simplifying the process. And I simplified the process in a way that it's very, really easy to understand. And people are finding huge success.
So I want to go into the listeners out there that are actively flipping houses and just pick your brain about real estate in general. So are there any particular type of properties that you would never buy?
Yes, ones that I'm going to lose money on.
Great answer. What are your predictions for the rest of this year in 2024?
Man, my prediction is real estate is going to continue strong. I'm very confident that residential real estate is going to be strong. Inventory is not growing. Buyers are getting tired of sitting on the sidelines. They're talking about reducing interest rates. We're in an election year. I think we're going to have a strong market.
And even with the way interest rates are, because that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people, interest rates, but I don't see it slowing us down.
No, here's why. I'll give you an example. In California, someone that bought a house 10 years ago, let's say they bought it for $400,000 10 years ago, today it's worth $1 million. So guess what? When they buy their next house, the down payment is going to be $500,000-$600,000.
So well said. And for the people that are starting out, what are your suggestions for long-term wealth building? Where do you suggest that they begin? And then has that changed for you over time as well?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to be very clear. The reason I flip houses is to make money so I can buy and own real estate. I'll say that again. The reason I flip houses is to make money so I can buy and own real estate. The only way to build wealth is through owning assets. You will never get wealthy flipping houses. You can get rich, but you'll never get wealthy. And the goal is not to get rich because rich runs out. The goal is to get wealthy.
And how has that changed for you over the years? Have you gone in different directions?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, at the beginning, I was really, really focused on flipping houses. And then I had a huge tax year. I think it was 2015. And then I learned about depreciation and offsetting taxes through cost segregations and owning rental properties. So over the years, I bought a couple hundred houses as rental properties. We have a couple thousand units of apartments, self-storage facilities, industrial office space. So just kind of, buying as much as we can and just make sure we're buying good real estate.
Very good.
Yeah, and those are mostly with my company, TEM Capital. We're actually going into our first luxury condo high-rise development deal in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in a couple weeks here. So real excited.
I grew up in Broward County. So let's switch gears here. What all do you have going on with everything else? Because everybody knows you as a TV personality, and there's so many more layers. You're also the educator. You have a candle line out right now called Them. Is that what that is? And you have opportunities for people to invest with TEM Capital. So give us some other things that you have going on in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So Target Buys Houses is the company where I flip houses and I wholesale houses. TEM Capital is private equity real estate syndication. I'm just obsessed with this company. This is my baby right here. And this is where we're partnering with my fans, my followers, my students who are accredited to buy commercial real estate and develop commercial real estate. I have the agency real estate team over at eXp Realty. We're right around 1,500 agents nationwide and growing, so that's exciting. We have a home goods company called Home by Them. The them is Tarek and Heather El Moussa, and we have some really cool products there. We have a production company called Homemade Productions, where we're producing our own shows, and we're also cultivating new talent. I'm a part owner of a green energy company called Soar Energy, which is a solar company. So excited about that. I just had my book come out, Flip Your Life. I'm filming the Flipping El Moussas on HGTV. Season 3 of Flipping 101 is coming out soon. I'm working on a new show. And yeah, I think that's it. Did I hit everything? I think I did.
Well, let's go back to TEM Capital, because I know you also allow investors to invest with you, but they have to be accredited. Is that correct?
Yes, they have to be accredited investors.
And how would they go about investing with Tarek directly?
Oh, like if they just go to temcapital.co, all the information to get registered, book a call, learn more, it's all there. And then our social media is TEM Capital.
Awesome. And before we leave the whole real estate thing, there's so many trends, and in real estate, you have to learn to pivot, and you just have to watch for certain things. Do you see any opportunities that are being missed right now for some of these investors out there?
Yeah, I mean, a big opportunity I'm seeing is, people wholesaling houses when they should be keeping them as rentals or even flipping them in certain markets. I think, there's been so much fear in the market. People are locking up good deals and then they're trying to get rid of them. I think it might be a good idea to start thinking about keeping some of them.
So I know HGTV has opened the door for you for many things. That's how we all got to know you. And I don't know if you know the story, but I suckered Vance, my husband, into marrying me over real estate by watching HGTV shows. And that's a whole other story. But
Love it.
I tricked him into going to look at houses. And by the end, I'm like, well, I'm not going to get into a mortgage unless I'm married. He's like, well, I'm not getting a mortgage unless I'm married. And we were married 5 days later. So just to get that property. But for the people out there listening and, they just see you on the show and they think, oh, he's had it so easy. And people go out and read this book because you did not have it easy growing up. And this book it tells everything. But what advice do you have for your viewers that are inspired by your journey to pursue a career in real estate? What advice do you have for them?
Unlearn every single thing you've ever been taught in your entire life because it's all bullshit. That's my answer.
And then do what? Get an education program, correct?
No, I can't be more clear about that. Like, here's the problem. From the time we're children, we're told, no, you can't. Sit down, wait in line, wait your turn. That's not for you. You're not good enough. And it's all bullshit. Luckily, I got this gift called ADHD where I used to argue and I don't believe what people tell me. And that's why I'm able to do what I do, because I believe I can do it, because I don't listen to the noise of all the people giving me all the reasons why it's not going to work. And then if you look at your environment, well, who's giving you the advice? You will never, and I'm going to say this and everybody listen, remember this. You will never find a real estate investor, a true, real estate investor that tells you not to become a real estate investor. The only people, I'm going to say this again, the only people that are going to tell you not to do it are one, the people that have never done it, and two, they have no idea what they're talking about. So if you want to get advice, go to the people that are in a position to give you advice. Don't go to your inner circle. They're going to give you bad advice.
So well said. And a great place to learn about real estate investing is through Homeschooled by Tarek. And how would people join our program to be with wonderful coaches like myself and the others?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. So you can go to homeschooledbytarek.com. That's our main website. And then we also have a social media account, Homeschooled by Tarek as well. And we made a lot of changes to the programs. We're on live coaching weekly. We have boot camps. We have student centers. We have partner with Tarek programs. So if you guys can go out there, find a deal, you don't know what to do, you can partner with me now. So there's just so many advantages in partnering with me in the program.
Wonderful. And before we go to the second part of the podcast here, I just want to say for the listeners, I happen to know you at a little bit more personal level. And I just got to say, as a former middle school teacher, I just am so impressed with you as the dad and being the family man and everything. You know, the first event that we held and went to, your kids are there, both your parents are there, everyone is supporting you, and how important family is to everything that you do. So I just want to give you a shout out because I know it's tough. You went through a very public divorce and still had to run a show with her afterwards. But, you know, I've seen you behind the scenes, and there are times where I'm like, okay, let's see if he does. But you are so supportive of your ex-wife, your beautiful current wife, and your family. And I just want to say, I appreciate you as a human being. And that's why listeners, come join us in the coaching program and be part of this. And that's what I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I'm so just appreciative of you. Yes.
And if anyone's out there is listening to this, you know, rock bottom, it can be a beautiful place. It can. Like if you're going through some shit in your life, some sicknesses, losing a family member, losing a spouse, losing your money, losing your business. If you're in rock bottom, the good news is you have nowhere to go but up. Yes. And you're not going to start going up until you take that very first step and you make the decision to flip your life. And I'm serious that you can do it.
And go out and get that book today if you haven't read it. So the second part of the podcast is what makes Tarek El Moussa a badass, which we all know you are. And I use the acronym BADASS, and the first letter is B for book. What's a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
All right. Listen, it's as simple as this. I used to have a really hard time waking up in the morning. I'd sleep through my alarms. I'd turn it off and I didn't even know. So I read the book, The Miracle Morning, and I loved it. And the one tip it gave me changed my life. It told me to buy an obnoxiously loud alarm clock, which I did. It's called The Bomb. It's on Amazon. And then it told me to place the alarm in my bathroom. So in the morning when that thing's going off and it sounds like an ambulance is in my house, I have to run from my bed to the bathroom to turn it off. And that little trick right there was a game changer.
Well, Miracle Morning is written by Hal Elrod, who I'm a huge fan of. Do you know him? Have you ever met him?
I don't know him, but we message back and forth on social media.
He is so amazing. And he started with Cutco as well. Yeah, selling knives out there. Well, I love him, and I think he should be on this podcast as well. Just throwing it out there. All right. The first A in badass is for advice. You've given us some great advice, but what's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, don't expect to be good unless you're willing to practice.
Excellent. Is that from coaches growing up, or?
That's from my dad. I used to get frustrated, and he's like, what are you getting frustrated for? What makes you think you're going to be good? You have no experience. You have no training. You've never practiced. What makes you, they're that arrogant? You think you're going to be the best at everything you do? It doesn't work like that. So I learned very early on, we all suck at the beginning, and that's why it takes hard work and practice, and that's how you become great.
Wonderful. All right. The D in badass is for drive. What drives Tarek El Moussa to be successful?
Prove to the world anything's possible. I'm so sick and tired of all the negative bullshit out there that's preventing other people from chasing their life, or chasing their dreams and living the lives they've always wanted. I'm talking like millions, hundreds and hundreds, if not billions of people are living a life they don't want to live because they're scared to take action based on other people's opinions.
You know, I reached out to my accountability group and I said, does anyone have any questions for Tarek? And one of them is, what keeps you confident when the haters are hating? Because that's a really good question from my friend Kathy, by the way.
Oh, simple. I've proven to myself over and over and over and over again that I can accomplish what I set out to accomplish. That's it. So they can hate all they want. They're hating me because they're just jealous. I mean, that's bottom line. You know, it's like my confidence is there. Like I said, I was going to flip houses. I flipped houses. I was going to get a TV show. I got a TV show. I was going to start a coaching program. Started a coaching program. And the more you build yourself and the more you prove to yourself you can do these things, the stronger you get and the further you can go.
Wonderful. All right. The second A in badass is for aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you're currently working on?
Geez, Jen, I got way too many. I honestly, I don't even know where to start. Like I'm trying to change the world, the big goal I'm working on is to change an entire generation of people. Like I want them to open their eyes to the realities and the truth of life.
Excellent. And I think one of your goals that I love that you do is your Flipping 101 TV show. And one of the things on there is you have a countdown of what it's costing them per day, because that is just not even in many of these other TV shows. So bravo to you on that, just for helping them with their goals on that show. All right, moving on. The first S in Badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I mean, definitely have to have systems. You need KPIs, you need SOPs, you need CRMs.
People.
You need people, you need artificial intelligence, you need marketing. Every single thing should be a system. Every single thing should be a system, meaning system 1, how do we find deals? System 2, how do we fund deals? System 3, how do we fix deals? System 4, how do we flip and sell these deals? And within those systems are going to be microsystems.
And we teach those systems, Find It, Fund It, Fix It, Flip It, for Homeschooled by Tarek. So definitely check that out. So Tarek, I know I could talk to you for hours, but your time is so valuable. And I appreciate you coming on the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. And the final S in Badass is for success. What does success mean to you?
Ooh, happiness and accomplishment. Most of my life, I always chased money. It was always money. I want, money. And then guess what, Jen? I had more money than I knew what to do with at one point. And I was the most miserable I ever was in my entire life. It's not about money anymore. It's about happiness, and it's about accomplishment.
And you have accomplished so much in your short time on this earth and through 2 bouts of cancer. And I just want to say I'm so grateful to you for everything that you have done in my personal life, opening doors for me, allowing me to put my teacher hat back on and to work with your students. So, Tarek, thank you so much for being on the show today.
This was fun, Jen. Thank you. And I'll see you Wednesday on the coaching call.
Absolutely. And that is all. Thank you for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.